Don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Epictetus. What if I told you that procrastination isn't just a bad habit? It's a silent thief stealing your time, energy, and potential. We all know the frustration of putting things off, feeling stuck in a cycle of delay that keeps us from reaching our goals. But what if overcoming procrastination isn't about willpower alone, but about adopting a mindset that has guided some of the greatest thinkers for centuries? In this video, How to Beat Procrastination, 8 Stoic Strategies That Work. You'll learn powerful Stoic techniques designed to break the procrastination trap once and for all. These strategies aren't just motivational. They're practical, actionable tools rooted in ancient wisdom that can help you take control, focus your energy, and act decisively. Stick around until the very end, because the last few tips hold some of the most effective, surprising insights that can transform your productivity and mindset overnight. If you're ready to stop delaying and start doing, this video will give you the mental armor you need to conquer procrastination for good. Let's get started. Number 1. Focus on the present moment. Let's talk about something that's simpler than you think but absolutely game-changing when it comes to beating procrastination: focusing on the present moment. It sounds basic, maybe even obvious, but trust me, this is where so many of us get stuck. You want to start that task, you want to push forward, but your mind is all over the place, worrying about the future, replaying the past, distracted by a million things. That's the enemy right there. The Stoics nailed this centuries ago. Wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." It's like he's telling you, stop letting your mind wander off into what-ifs and maybes. Right now is your only real opportunity to act. When you focus on what's happening this very second, procrastination loses its grip. Because procrastination feeds on distraction and hesitation, and both vanish when you zero in on the here and now. So how do you train yourself to do this? First, start small. Whenever you catch yourself drifting away into anxious thoughts or daydreams about what's next, pause. Take a deep breath. Notice what you're doing at this moment. Feel the chair beneath you, the air in your lungs, the keyboard under your fingers. This simple awareness grounds you. It pulls you back from that mental fog where procrastination lives. Try this. Set a timer for just 5 minutes. Tell yourself, I'm going to fully focus on this one task for the next 5 minutes. No distractions, no multitasking. When the timer goes off, check in with yourself. How do you feel? Chances are you've done more in those focused 5 minutes than you expected, and that momentum builds fast. Epictetus reminds us, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. What does that mean here? It means don't overthink or get paralyzed by trying to plan every detail before you start. Just begin. Be fully present in the action, even if it feels awkward or imperfect. That's where real progress happens. Make it a habit. Every day, dedicate a moment to slowing down and grounding yourself in the present. Whether it's before you dive into work, when you're feeling overwhelmed, or anytime procrastination creeps in, this practice will help you reclaim your focus. Soon enough, you'll notice that your mind isn't your enemy anymore. It's your greatest tool. Remember, the present moment is all you truly have. You can't change the past or predict the future, but you can control how you act right now. So, take a deep breath, tune in, and get moving. The only way to beat procrastination is to start right here, right now. Number 2, break tasks into small steps. All right, let's talk about something simple but powerful: breaking tasks into small steps. This is a classic move in beating procrastination, but it's also deeply Stoic. The great didn't just leap into massive projects all at once. He focused on the little things he could control piece by piece. When you look at a huge task, it can feel like an impossible mountain blocking your way. Your brain goes, nope, too much. That's where you stall. So the trick is this: stop staring at the whole mountain. Instead, focus on one small step in front of you, just one, and then the next, then the next. It's about moving the needle slowly, steadily. You might be thinking, but I want to get things done fast. Here's the Stoic wisdom. Progress isn't about speed, it's about direction and consistency. Epictetus said, "No great thing is created suddenly. Everything worthwhile grows step by step." If you try to do everything at once, your mind rebels, overwhelmed by chaos. But if you slice the task into manageable chunks, suddenly it's doable. You reclaim control. You feel capable. Here's how you can start right now. Pick a task you've been avoiding. Don't think about finishing it all today. Instead, write down the smallest next step you can take. Not write the whole report, but open the document. Or write the first sentence. Make it so small it feels ridiculous, because that's the point. When a task is small, your mind doesn't resist. You just do it. Once you take that tiny action, momentum kicks in. The next step feels easier. You build a rhythm, and you're proving something essential to yourself. You can act, you can make progress. That feeling is fuel for fighting procrastination. A practical exercise. Every morning, list your big goals. Then break each one into 3 or 4 tiny, clear actions. Focus on one action at a time. Cross it off. Celebrate the small win. Repeat. You'll see that these little steps add up faster than you think. Remember Seneca's words. It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult. The difficulty fades when you dare to start small. So here's your challenge. Right now, pick a task you've been pushing aside. Write down one tiny thing you can do to move forward. Do that. Then another. Keep going. Don't wait for motivation. It won't come in a flood. Instead, create it by acting. Breaking tasks into small steps isn't just about efficiency. It's about training your mind to focus on what you can control right now. And that's the heart of Stoicism. Take control. Take action. Step by step. Number 3, practice self-discipline daily. If you want to beat procrastination, one of the most powerful tools you have is practicing self-discipline every single day. And no, this isn't about turning yourself into some rigid robot who never relaxes. It's about training your mind to focus, to act even when you don't feel like it, and to build habits that steadily push you forward, no matter what distractions or excuses pop up. Think about what Epictetus said. No man is free who is not master of himself. That means your freedom, your ability to get things done, to pursue what matters, depends on your self-control. When procrastination strikes, it's your discipline that can pull you back. It's the muscle you flex to say yes to action and no to avoidance. So how do you practice this discipline? Start small. Don't aim to overhaul your entire life overnight. Pick one tiny thing you can commit to every day. Maybe it's working on a task for just 5 minutes, no distractions allowed. 5 minutes might sound easy, but it's your way in. Once you do that, you build momentum. You prove to yourself that you can start, and starting is half the battle. Next, make a daily ritual. It could be as simple as setting a consistent time for focused work, turning off your phone, or clearing your workspace. Rituals train your brain to switch into get things done mode. Reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. When you design your environment and habits around discipline, you're harnessing that power. But don't expect perfection. You will slip up. You might lose focus. That's human. What matters is not the fall, but the getting back up. Each time you return to your commitment, you strengthen that self-discipline muscle. It's like building resilience. Keep at it day after day. Here's a practical exercise for you. Every morning, write down one small task that feels slightly uncomfortable but important. Commit to working on it for just 10 minutes. Set a timer and dive in. When the timer ends, congratulate yourself. even if you want to keep going or even if you stop there. The key is showing up consistently. Remember Seneca's wisdom. If a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable. Discipline helps you set your course and stay on it. Without it, you drift aimlessly, distracted by every little thing. So start today. Make self-discipline your daily practice. It won't always be easy. You'll face resistance, tiredness, boredom, but keep going. Over time, you'll notice a shift. Procrastination loses its grip because you've chosen action over avoidance, focus over delay. Your future self is counting on you. Show up, do the work, and watch how your life changes, one disciplined moment at a time. Number 4, visualize the benefits of action. When it comes to beating procrastination, one powerful tool you absolutely must try is visualizing the benefits of action. It sounds simple, but this little mental exercise can shift your entire mindset from hesitation to momentum. Imagine not just what you need to do, but the rewards waiting for you on the other side of that task, and feel that energy. It's like lighting a fire under yourself, but without the stress or pressure. Here's the thing, procrastination thrives on distraction and doubt. Your mind loves to trick you into focusing on how hard or unpleasant the work seems. But what if you flip the script? Instead of dwelling on the effort, focus intently on the good stuff that comes after. Picture how it feels to have finished. Picture the relief, the pride, the new opportunities, the confidence that floods in when you say, "I did it." This isn't just daydreaming, it's preparing your brain to crave progress rather than avoid it. Said, when you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. Now, apply that gratitude to your work. Visualize the benefit of action as your privilege to move closer to a better version of yourself. This isn't about big leaps, it's about those small, meaningful steps that add up. Every task completed is a building block for your character, your future, your peace of mind. Try this exercise before you start your work. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. Now imagine yourself having finished the task. What do you see? What's different? How do you feel? Let that feeling fill you up. The confidence, the calm, the sense of accomplishment. Hold on to it for a moment. Then open your eyes and remind yourself, this feeling is real and you can create it with action. Another way to harness visualization is by breaking your tasks into smaller goals and imagining the benefits of completing each one. This keeps your mind engaged and less overwhelmed. Instead of a vague, "I have to finish this huge project," it becomes, "I'm about to cross off this piece and it's going to feel great." Progress feels good. Let that feeling guide you. Remember Epictetus, who said, "No great thing is created suddenly." Visualizing the benefits keeps you connected to the long-term rewards, not just the immediate effort. You're training your brain to love the outcome more than fear the work. It's a powerful way to defeat the voice in your head that says, "later," or "not now." So make it a habit. Each morning or before any task, pause and picture success. Let it energize you. Let it motivate you. Let it pull you forward. Because when you see the benefits clearly, you won't want to procrastinate, you'll want to act. Now go ahead, close your eyes, see that finish line and step toward it. You're capable, you're ready. And that feeling you imagine, that's the real reward waiting for you. Number 5, remove distractions intentionally. Let's get straight to the point. If you want to beat procrastination, one of the absolute first things you need to do is remove distractions intentionally. Sounds simple, right? But it's also the hardest thing to do in today's world where your phone, notifications, and endless digital noise are designed to steal your attention away every single second. You have to decide, right now, that you're not giving those distractions any more power over your time or focus. Said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. That means your ability to focus doesn't just magically happen. You have to claim it, protect it, and guard it like a fortress. Your mind is your most valuable asset. If you allow distractions to creep in, they chip away at your energy and willpower. That's why removing distractions isn't optional, it's essential. So how do you do this intentionally? Start by identifying what pulls your attention away. Maybe it's your phone lighting up with messages, social media apps calling for a quick scroll, or even background noise that's quietly sucking your concentration. Whatever it is, you need to isolate it. Turn off notifications. Put your phone on Do Not Disturb. If you work on a computer, close the tabs you don't need. Use apps or tools that block distracting sites during focused work periods. This isn't about punishing yourself. It's about creating a space where your mind can thrive and your work can flow. Here's a practical exercise. Pick a task you've been putting off. Set a timer for 25 minutes, the Pomodoro technique. During those 25 minutes, remove everything distracting from your environment. No phone, no random browser tabs, no background chatter. Just you and that task. When the timer goes off, take a 5-minute break, but only then. This focused burst trains your brain to resist distractions and boosts your productivity. Remember what Seneca advised. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. When you let distractions control you, you're wasting precious time you'll never get back. So make it a habit to be deliberate with your environment. Shape it to fit your goals, not your habits of distraction. You might notice your mind rebels at first. It craves the dopamine hits of notifications and multitasking. That's normal. But every time you resist, you build mental muscle. Each distraction you remove is a victory. Over time, you'll find that you're not only getting more done, you're calmer, more in control, and actually enjoying the work you do. Here's the final nudge. Start today, right now. Take one small step to cut out a distraction. Maybe it's silencing your phone during work hours or closing one extra tab. Then build on that. As Epictetus said, no great thing is created suddenly. Progress comes from small, consistent actions. You have everything you need to take control of your focus. Remove distractions intentionally and watch how your ability to beat procrastination grows stronger every day. Your future self will thank you. Number 6, use negative visualization to motivate. All right, let's dive into the power of negative visualization and how it can help you beat procrastination. This might sound a bit unusual at first, thinking about what could go wrong, but stick with me. The Stoics used this technique to build resilience and ignite motivation, and you can too. Negative visualization means you intentionally picture losing what you value or imagine the worst-case scenario if you don't act. When it comes to procrastination, this practice can shake you out of the comfortable fog of delay. Think about what happens if you keep pushing things off. Missed chances, piled up stress, maybe even regret. You don't have to dwell there, but just let the reality of inaction sink in for a moment. Seneca, one of the great Stoics, said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." But here's the twist. Using your imagination to confront fears head-on can actually stop those fears from holding you hostage. When you picture the consequences of procrastination clearly, you bring that vague, uncomfortable feeling into sharp focus. It's no longer some distant, fuzzy threat. It becomes real, urgent, and impossible to ignore. Now, this isn't about scaring yourself into paralysis. It's about waking up. You're not trapped in this moment. You have the power to act. When you imagine what might slip through your fingers if you don't start, you create a strong reason to begin, right now. You fuel your willpower by seeing the cost of waiting. Here's a simple exercise to try. Before you sit down to work or tackle a task, close your eyes and spend a minute imagining the outcome if you don't do it. Picture that unfinished project, that opportunity missed, that nagging feeling of guilt. Feel it briefly but deeply. Then shift your focus. Picture yourself starting, moving forward, getting things done. The contrast is powerful. You'll feel that push inside, the urge to avoid regret and embrace action. Wrote, do every act of your life as though it were the very last act of your life. That's the essence of negative visualization applied in real life. If today were your last chance, how would you spend it? Would you procrastinate? Probably not. This mindset can cut through hesitation like a knife. Here's the truth. Procrastination thrives on comfort, on pretending everything will be fine if you just delay a little longer. Negative visualization disrupts this lie. It reminds you, gently but firmly, that time is slipping and your goals won't wait forever. It invites you to honor your time, your effort, your purpose. So don't shy away from the uncomfortable thoughts. Use them as fuel. When the voice inside you whispers, later, counter it with the clear image of what you lose if you listen. The Stoics knew that the mind shapes your reality. If you feed it with vivid, honest truths, it will drive you toward discipline and momentum. Remember, this is a practice. It gets easier and stronger each time you do it. Negative visualization doesn't just prepare you for setbacks, it propels you forward right now. Start using it today and watch how your resistance to action begins to crumble. You've got this. Number 7. Embrace discomfort as growth. You know that uneasy feeling you get when you're about to start something hard, something that pushes you out of your comfort zone. That tightness in your chest, the urge to delay or avoid it altogether. That's discomfort knocking at your door, and it's exactly where your growth begins. Embracing discomfort as a path to growth isn't just a motivational. It's a core Stoic strategy to beat procrastination and become the best version of yourself. One of the greatest Stoic minds said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." What he meant was that the very obstacles that make you want to run away, fear, discomfort, uncertainty, can actually push you forward if you face them head-on. When you resist discomfort, you're resisting progress. But when you lean into it, you're telling yourself, "I am stronger than this moment of difficulty." Here's the truth. Discomfort is inevitable if you want to grow, if you want to stop procrastinating and start doing. So why not welcome it? Instead of shrinking back, practice stepping into that discomfort. Every time you feel that resistance, the urge to scroll instead of work, to delay instead of act, pause and breathe. Remind yourself, this feeling is temporary. Growth lies on the other side. Now, how do you make this practical? Start small. When you notice the discomfort, don't run. Take a deep breath, then break your task into the smallest, easiest step. That might be opening a document, writing a single sentence, or making a simple call. Action is your antidote. Even the tiniest move forward weakens discomfort's grip. Try this exercise. Set a timer for just 5 minutes. Tell yourself you only have to work for that short burst. The discomfort will likely still be there, but it will feel more manageable. Once the timer goes off, you might find that your momentum carries you forward beyond those 5 minutes. This trick helps you rewire your brain to associate discomfort with manageable, bite-sized actions. Seneca reminded us, difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. Think of discomfort as mental training, an essential part of building your willpower muscle. Each time you choose discomfort, you get a little stronger, more capable of handling bigger challenges. You build the habit of action instead of avoidance. So next time procrastination whispers, "It's too hard, too uncomfortable," answer back with stoic calm. "Good, this is exactly what I need." Commit to feeling the discomfort but moving forward anyway. It's uncomfortable, yes, but it's also the only way to grow. You're not running from discomfort, you're embracing it. You're turning it into your ally. Remember, beating procrastination isn't about waiting for the right moment or the perfect mood. It's about learning to work through the discomfort every single time. You have the power to change your relationship with discomfort today. Choose growth. Choose action. Choose to be better, even when it's uncomfortable. Number 8, commit to consistent progress. All right, let's dive into this one, committing to consistent progress. This isn't about giant leaps or overnight miracles. No, it's the small, steady steps you take every single day that chip away at procrastination and build momentum. The Stoics understood this deeply. Once said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." But what's right and true here is this: progress doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to keep moving forward. Here's the thing: you don't need to be perfect. You just need to show up every single day. It's tempting to wait for the right moment, the perfect mood, or a surge of motivation. But that's a trap. Progress rewards action, not intention. When you commit to consistent progress, you're telling yourself that you value your goals more than your excuses. You're breaking free from the habit of putting things off until conditions are ideal. Spoiler, they never are. This commitment is about building a rhythm. Think of it like a heartbeat, steady, reliable, unstoppable. It's the small wins that compound. Maybe today you write a paragraph, even if you don't feel like it. Maybe you spend 5 minutes organizing your workspace instead of an hour perfecting a plan that never gets acted on. These small actions, repeated over time, create a foundation that procrastination can't shake. Now, how do you make this commitment real? Start by setting tiny, manageable goals. Don't say, "I'm going to finish this huge project today." Instead, say, "I'll work on it for 10 minutes. Just 10. It's a low bar, easy to clear. And once you start, momentum often kicks in. But even if it doesn't, you've still made progress. Another Stoic nugget to hold on to is Epictetus' advice. No great thing is created suddenly. This reminds you that every achievement is a process. It's a series of moments where you decide to keep going, to do the work even when you'd rather do anything else. That decision, that choice, is where your power lives. Try this practical exercise. Every morning, write down one small action that will move you closer to your goal. Keep it realistic. Then commit to doing it no matter what. At night, reflect briefly. Did you do it? If yes, celebrate that win. If no, don't beat yourself up. Instead, ask, what held me back? What can I change tomorrow? This keeps you engaged with your progress, turning your efforts into a cycle of growth, not guilt. Finally, remember why you started. The reason behind your goals is your fuel. Whenever procrastination whispers lies like, "You'll do it later," or "It's too hard," remind yourself of your why. The Stoics teach us to focus on what's within our control: your effort, your choices, your commitment. Consistent progress means you're owning those choices every day. So don't wait for motivation to magically appear. Commit right now to showing up, to taking that next step, even if it's small, even if it's imperfect. Because progress, no matter the size, moves you forward. And over time, those small steps become unstoppable momentum. You've got this. All right, now you've got 8 powerful Stoic strategies to crush procrastination once and for all. Remember, the key isn't just knowing what to do, it's actually doing it. So start small, take that first step, and keep moving forward. As Seneca said, it's not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Don't waste another minute waiting for the perfect moment. The time to act is now. If these tips helped you, hit that like button, share this with someone who needs a push, and subscribe for more wisdom to level up your life. And hey, drop a comment. What strategy will you try first? Let's beat procrastination together. See you in the next video. It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Epictetus. What if I told you that 90% of the stress, anxiety, and self-doubt you feel every single day comes from one simple thing: caring too much about what other people think of you? Think about it. How often have you held back from speaking your mind, chasing a dream, or even just being yourself because of that tiny, nagging voice in your head worrying about judgment? Here's the truth. Most people are too wrapped up in their own lives to scrutinize yours as closely as you imagine. And yet, we give away our peace, our confidence, and sometimes even our happiness for the opinions of strangers. But there's a way to break free, and it's been hiding in plain sight for thousands of years. Stoicism isn't just an old philosophy. It's a practical guide to living life on your own terms, unshaken by criticism, envy, or doubt. In this video, I'll show you the exact mindset shifts and actionable techniques Stoics use to stop caring about what others think, and how you can apply them starting today. Stick around till the very end, because the final tip is a game changer that most people completely overlook. Number 1, understand that others' opinions are outside your control. You need to grasp this truth once and for all. Other people's opinions are not yours to command. They are entirely beyond your control. This is a fundamental principle in Stoicism, a cornerstone of mental freedom that Stoic philosophers like Epictetus hammered home again and again. He said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." The people around you, their judgments, criticisms, and praises are not part of your realm. They belong to them, not you. Every thought they have about you is shaped by their own biases, their insecurities, their fears. You might wish to influence them to gain their approval, to mold their perception, but trying to control what they think is like trying to command the wind. It's a waste of energy, a drain on your mind, a subtle form of self-betrayal. The only thing you ever have power over is your own mind, your choices, your actions, your character. That's it. So here's what you need to do. Start practicing this consciously. Each time you feel that tug, the urge to care, to twist yourself to fit someone else's expectations, pause, take a deep breath, acknowledge the thought, "They think this about me." Then remind yourself their opinion is theirs, not mine. Say it quietly, firmly, with intention. It's simple, yes, but simplicity is deceptive. Simple truths can dismantle lifelong habits if applied consistently. Who ruled an empire yet wrestled with the same human tendencies we all do, advised, "If someone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake, I will gladly change, but I will not be disturbed by empty judgment." Let that sink in. Only the fair and rational feedback that you can act on matters. Everything else, let it fall away. And don't just leave it as an idea in your head. Turn it into practice. Each morning before you speak or act, ask yourself, "Am I doing this for myself or for someone else's approval?" Train yourself to notice when your motivation is contaminated by the need to be seen, liked, or validated. The more you catch it, the more you reclaim your autonomy. Another exercise is reflection at the end of each day. Consider moments when someone's opinion triggered tension or anxiety in you. Trace it to its source. Was it really about their words, or was it your reaction? Your power lies in this distinction. The moment you separate the opinion from your inner equilibrium, you regain your freedom. You can also use a physical anchor to remind yourself of this daily. Every time you feel your thoughts drifting into someone else's judgment, place your hand over your heart, breathe, and mentally repeat, "Their opinions are not mine. My mind is my own." Over time, this builds a muscle of self-sovereignty, a reflex that deflects unnecessary worry and frustration. You'll start noticing that your energy no longer leaks into the expectations of others. It stays with you, fueling your decisions, your growth, your serenity. Remember, Stoicism is not about cold detachment or ignoring the world. It's about understanding where your control begins and ends, and acting wisely within that boundary. You can be compassionate, social, and engaged without being enslaved by external judgments. Each opinion that tries to shake you is a chance to practice inner calm, to strengthen your self-mastery, to remind yourself that the only authority over your life is you. When you fully embrace this, something extraordinary happens. You stop bending to the invisible pressure of the crowd. You start living on your own terms. You start thinking, acting, and feeling freely. And that freedom, that's where true peace, true power, and true joy reside. Number 2, focus on your own values and actions. Imagine for a moment how much energy you waste worrying about what others think of you. Every glance, every comment, every subtle judgment that you perceive can pull at your mind, tugging you in directions you didn't choose. The Stoics teach that this energy is entirely. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." What if you redirected that energy inward, toward cultivating your own values, shaping your own actions, and defining yourself by your own standards rather than the shifting opinions of others? That's where true freedom begins. You have within you a compass that doesn't need the approval of strangers, colleagues, or even friends. The moment you start orienting your life around your own principles, you start feeling the liberating lightness of self-sovereignty. You realize that other people's thoughts are just that, thoughts, not commands. You might ask yourself, how do I even begin to focus on my own values when the world constantly bombards me with what I should want, who I should be, what I should achieve? Start small. Take a moment each day to define the qualities that matter most to you. Courage, patience, integrity, compassion. Choose the virtues that will guide you. Then deliberately act according to them, even when no one is watching. Reminds us, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Your actions become the truest reflection of your character. And when you consistently measure yourself against your own standards, the opinions of others begin to lose their grip. You no longer bend to the shifting winds of external judgment because your own inner compass is steady, unwavering. Here's a practical exercise to anchor this mindset. Take a journal and write down your 3 most important values. Beside each, jot down one action you can take today to live according to that value. Don't just think about it, do it. Then, at the end of the day, review what you accomplished. Reflect honestly, without judgment. Did you act in alignment with your principles, or did the desire for approval slip in? This simple practice trains your mind to prioritize what you can control, your own thoughts and actions, over what you cannot control, the opinions of others. Over time, this discipline becomes habit. Your confidence in your own moral framework strengthens, and with that strength comes a quiet resilience that others' judgments cannot pierce. Remember that caring what others think is natural, but unchecked, it becomes a leash around your mind. Every time you notice yourself worrying about external approval, pause, take a breath, ask, is this aligned with my values? If the answer is yes, proceed. If no, let it go. This is the heart of Stoic mastery, recognizing the boundary between what belongs to you and what does not. By continually returning to your own standards, you gradually immunize yourself against the invisible weight of societal expectation. The voice of your own integrity grows louder, and the chatter of external opinion fades into irrelevance. Eventually, this focus transforms your life from reactive to intentional. You begin living on purpose, guided by principles, not by applause. You become impervious to the highs and lows of social approval because your worth is measured internally, not externally. As Seneca said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." Craving others' approval is a poverty of spirit. Focusing on your own values is richness beyond measure. Make it a daily habit. Pause, reflect, align, act. Over time, you will find an unshakable calm in the face of judgment, a freedom so profound that caring what they think becomes a faint echo in a mind fully devoted to its own virtuous path. Number 3, practice self-reflection instead of seeking approval. Imagine for a moment that the thoughts of others are like passing clouds, sometimes dark, sometimes light, but never something you can control. Yet, so often, you catch yourself tethered to those clouds, letting their shape and color dictate your mood. Stoicism teaches a different path. It says that the only mind you can truly govern is your own. When you constantly seek the approval of others, you hand over control of your inner life, your peace, your focus, to people who in reality hold no power over your character unless you allow them to. Reminds us, if someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will gladly change, but I will not be influenced by the opinions of the many. The key distinction here is between constructive reflection, examining yourself, and passive absorption of judgment from others. One sharpens your mind and your soul. The other chains you to a perpetual cycle of insecurity. Practicing self-reflection instead of seeking approval means turning your gaze inward and asking, am I living according to my principles, or am I bending to fit someone else's mold? This isn't about arrogance or ignoring advice. It's about separating external noise from internal truth. Start small. Set aside a few quiet minutes each day to review your actions, your reactions, and your intentions. Ask yourself, did I act with integrity? Did I respond with calm rather than haste? Did I pursue what matters, or did I chase someone's praise? This daily exercise trains you to measure your life against your own standards, not the shifting winds of public opinion. One practical exercise is to carry a journal where you write down moments where you felt compelled to seek approval. Note the triggers. Was it a comment, a glance, an expectation? Then counter each instance with a reflective question. What would a person of virtue do in this situation? Slowly, you'll notice a shift. You begin to measure success not by applause but by alignment with your values. Seneca urges, it is not the man who has too little but the man who craves more that is poor. Replace the craving for approval with the wealth of self-knowledge, and suddenly, the opinions of others lose their weight. Another powerful method is mental rehearsal. Before entering any situation where judgment might arise, meetings, social interactions, or even casual encounters, remind yourself, I will focus on acting rightly, not on how I am perceived. Visualize maintaining composure, speaking thoughtfully, responding calmly, and standing by your principles. Over time, this becomes automatic. Your mind learns to pivot from external validation to internal alignment, which is the essence of Stoic freedom. You can also practice asking yourself one simple question when criticism or praise arises. Does this help me become a better person? If the answer is no, release it. If yes, examine it calmly and adopt what improves you. This is not an act of detachment for the sake of aloofness. It's disciplined discernment, the hallmark of Stoic wisdom. Epictetus reminds you, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Your focus, your energy, your mental clarity, they are yours to protect. Every moment you spend seeking approval is a moment you could be practicing virtue, cultivating calm, and building character. So start today. Commit to daily reflection, journal your impulses for external validation, and consciously choose alignment over approval. Gradually, the noise of others will fade, and you will experience the quiet power of a mind guided by principle, not applause. Step by step, thought by thought, you reclaim your inner world. The freedom you gain is not hypothetical. It is palpable, serene, and profoundly yours. Once you master this practice, you will find that the opinions of others become mere background hum, and your life is lived by your own steady, unwavering compass. Number 4, embrace discomfort and criticism as opportunities to grow. Imagine this. Every time someone judges you, criticizes your choices, or questions your path, you feel that familiar tightness in your chest, the unease, the itch to defend yourself, the longing to retreat. It's natural. Your instinct is to shield yourself from discomfort, to make others' opinions stop mattering, at least for a moment. But here, the key. What if you flip that sensation on its head? What if discomfort and criticism weren't enemies, but rather invitations, powerful opportunities for growth? Stoicism teaches us that the world won't pause just because we're uncomfortable, reminds us that the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Every challenge, every sharp remark, every jab at your choices is a tool. It's raw material you can use to strengthen your character, to forge a sturdier version of yourself if you're willing to embrace it. To truly stop caring about what others think, you have to learn to welcome these moments of discomfort. Instead of recoiling from criticism, approach it with curiosity. Ask yourself, calmly and without judgment, is there truth here? Is there something I can refine? You're not trying to please anyone, you're simply seeking clarity and growth. The Stoics weren't immune to critique. Epictetus endured mockery and derision, yet he remained steadfast, knowing that external opinions could never touch the core of his inner virtue. You can cultivate that same resilience. The next time criticism arises, pause, breathe deeply, and let it land without immediate reaction. Observe your instinctive responses, identify the pang of ego, and remind yourself, their opinion does not define me. Here's a practical exercise. Each day, deliberately place yourself in situations that provoke mild discomfort. It could be speaking your truth when it feels risky, voicing an unpopular perspective, or openly admitting a weakness. As the moments unfold, notice your body's tension and your mind's chatter. Instead of fleeing, allow yourself to experience it fully. Label the sensations. Recognize them as passing, external events, like clouds drifting across the sky. By practicing this, you train yourself to face criticism with calmness, to allow others' judgments to pass through without lodging in your self-worth. You begin to see discomfort as a teacher rather than a tormentor. Another key practice is reflection. At the end of each day, take a moment to journal your reactions to any criticism or discomfort you faced. Record what you felt, how your instincts responded, and most importantly, how you can respond differently next time. This is not self-punishment. It is gentle self-training. Seneca reminds us that we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Often, the fear of judgment is more painful than judgment itself. By confronting it directly, you shrink its power. You learn that the discomfort isn't a signal of failure. It's a beacon pointing you toward growth. Finally, internalize this. The opinions of others are like passing weather, ever-changing, unpredictable, and beyond your control. What you can control is your mind, your response, and the values you uphold. Every encounter with criticism is a chance to exercise courage, temperance, and self-mastery. The more you embrace these opportunities, the more you cultivate freedom from the tyranny of other people's perceptions. So when the next comment, sneer, or whisper arises, welcome it. Breathe, observe, reflect, and let it teach you. Step by step, discomfort becomes familiar, criticism becomes instructive, and gradually you will find the sweet liberation of not caring what they think. Because your growth, your virtue, and your serenity are yours alone to protect and nurture. Number 5, remind yourself of the impermanence of other judgments. Imagine this. Every judgment, criticism, or sideways glance you feel from others is like a ripple in a pond, brief, fleeting, and far less weighty than it seems in the moment. The truth is, people's opinions are not fixed. They are transient, shaped by moods, misunderstandings, personal biases, and circumstances you will likely never fully know. Reminds us, if someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change, for I seek the truth by which no one was ever truly harmed, but not by the opinions of the crowd. Let this sink in. The crowd, the masses, even the people closest to you, they are not permanent arbiters of your value. Their judgments, while they may sting, are impermanent. You don't have to carry them as though they were eternal truths. Start by actively noticing how transient other people's thoughts are. Picture their judgment as a cloud drifting across the sky. It appears, sometimes dark and heavy, but it moves on, leaving the sun visible again. Each time you catch yourself overthinking what someone thinks of you, pause, breathe, and mentally place their opinion in a box labeled temporary, not defining. Practice this with deliberate repetition. At first, it might feel awkward because your mind has been conditioned to weigh other people's perceptions as monumental. But like any skill, it strengthens with practice. Soon, you'll notice the lightness that comes from separating yourself from the weight of fleeting opinions. You can also harness reflection to remind yourself of impermanence. Take a few minutes each day to ask, will this opinion matter in a week, a month, a year? Most often, the answer will be no. This is not cynicism, it is clarity. It is understanding that the vast majority of judgments are ephemeral shadows, not the bedrock of reality. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." If you view judgments as impermanent, you reclaim the power of your reaction. The sting of criticism diminishes because you are no longer treating it as a permanent marker of your worth. Here's a practical exercise. Whenever you notice a judgment or critical thought from someone else creeping in, write it down on a piece of paper. Then beside it, write how long it will matter to you realistically. 1 day, 1 week, 1 month. Seeing it physically on paper often makes impermanence undeniable. Fold it, set it aside, and continue your day. You're training your mind to recognize impermanence not just conceptually, but viscerally. Another key step is to internalize the idea that the only opinion that truly counts is your own, tempered by reason and virtue. Seneca advises, "He suffers more than necessary, who suffers before it is necessary." When you preemptively suffer under the weight of imagined judgments, you make yourself vulnerable to pain that isn't even real yet. Instead, anchor yourself in your own standards: integrity, effort, courage. Let these be the measure by which you evaluate yourself, not the fleeting reactions of others. Each time you successfully redirect your attention from someone else's impermanent judgment to your own grounded principles, you strengthen a habit that protects you from unnecessary suffering. Finally, embrace meditation on impermanence as a daily habit. Imagine the world's opinions passing by like clouds, rivers, seasons, never static, never eternal. Let them flow. Feel the freedom that comes from understanding that their judgments, no matter how sharp, are temporary. As you practice, you'll start to notice a calm, unshakable center within yourself, untouched by others' fluctuating perceptions. You'll find that caring less about what people think is not indifference. It is mastery, a stoic power that allows you to live according to your values and not according to the whims of the crowd. Remember, the only opinion that truly matters is your own. As the Stoics teach, freedom comes when you stop letting the world dictate your self-worth. So, every time you catch yourself worrying about what others think, take a deep breath and remind yourself, their judgment is not your responsibility. Your actions and your peace of mind are. If you found value in this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a lesson in mastering your mind and living life on your own terms. And most importantly, take one small step today to stop caring what they think. You might be surprised at how freeing it feels. Stay strong, stay free, and I'll see you in the next one. He suffers more than necessary who suffers before it is necessary. These powerful words from Seneca serve as a guiding principle in Stoicism, urging us to examine how much of our anguish comes from anxieties about events that may never happen. What if I told you that over 80% of the things we dread never actually come to pass? That means we spend a considerable amount of energy, time, and resilience worrying about imaginary scenarios or outcomes that will remain mere phantoms in our minds. By embracing the tenets of Stoicism, you'll discover how to break free from this destructive cycle and cultivate a mindset of self-awareness. In this video, we'll unravel the lessons the Stoics offer on embracing the present moment, harnessing our internal power, and reframing problems as opportunities. From practical exercises to profound philosophical insights, each step is designed to help you conquer your fears and achieve inner harmony. But here's the catch. You'll only experience the full effect if you watch until the very end. Every lesson builds upon the previous one, creating a transformational journey you won't want to miss. So settle in, open your mind, and get ready to stop worrying, once and for all. Number 1. Understand the nature of things you can and cannot control. One of the most powerful lessons Stoicism offers is this: you cannot control everything. This simple realization can free you from the heavy burden of constant worry. It's easy to fall into the trap of trying to control things that are beyond our influence. But the more energy you pour into worrying about these uncontrollable things, the more you drain your mental and emotional strength. Let's talk about how you can break free from this habit and learn to focus on what really matters, what's within your control. First, ask yourself, what can I actually control? You can control your thoughts, your actions, your mindset, and how you react to situations. That's about it. Everything else, the weather, other people's opinions, the economy, the past, are all outside your reach. And here's the thing, when you focus on controlling what's within your grasp, you'll find a deep sense of peace. You stop wasting energy on things that don't matter and begin investing it in your growth, your decisions, your peace of mind. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus said it best: we cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. Think about that for a moment. It's not the events themselves that disturb us, but our judgment of them. What happens around you is often unpredictable, but you can always control how you interpret and respond to what's happening. By changing your mindset and focus, you immediately take the reins of your life back. So how do you start? The first step is awareness. Start observing where your mind tends to wander. When you feel anxious or stressed, pause. What's the source of that feeling? Are you worrying about something you can't control? If so, remind yourself, gently, that it's out of your hands. Shift your attention to what you can control: your thoughts, your actions, your response. This awareness doesn't happen overnight. It's a muscle you have to train, but with practice it becomes easier. Start small. Every time a worry arises, simply ask yourself, is this something I can control? If not, let it go. Every time you let go of an uncontrollable worry, you strengthen your mental resilience. It's like building a fortress around your peace of mind. Now, don't just stop there. Take action. Stoicism isn't just about understanding, it's about doing. When you find yourself thinking about something you can't change, take immediate action on what you can control. Maybe you need to change your perspective, work on improving your skills, or simply move on from a situation. Action aligns your mind with what you can control and helps you regain focus. Here's a practical exercise for you: the control journal. Each day, write down a few situations where you felt stressed or worried. Then, beside each one, note whether it's something you can control. If not, write down one thing you can control. The act of writing it down helps you focus on practical solutions and strengthens the habit of separating what's yours to control from what's not. The more you do this, the less power external circumstances will have over you. In time, your worries will lessen, and you'll begin to experience a true sense of calm, grounded in the understanding that you are the one in charge of your peace. Remember what Marcus Aurelius said: you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. This isn't just a nice idea, it's a life-changing practice. Once you internalize this truth, you'll no longer feel trapped by your worries. Instead, you'll feel empowered to act on what's within your control and let go of everything else. Your worries will have less space to grow, and your mind will be clearer, stronger, and more focused. So what's your next step? Stop letting your worries dictate your peace. Shift your focus. Every time your mind drifts toward the uncontrollable, pull it back and center yourself in what you can influence. This practice will transform not only your approach to stress, but also your entire outlook on life. Number 2, practice mindfulness and present moment awareness. One of the most transformative practices you can adopt to stop worrying is learning how to be present. Sounds simple, right? Yet, how often do you catch yourself drifting into thoughts of the past or the future, completely ignoring the moment right in front of you? We all do it. But here's the thing. Worrying is almost always rooted in the past or future, things that have already happened or things that might happen. And when your mind isn't anchored in the present, you open the door to anxiety, stress, and needless worry. Now let's get clear. The present moment is all you have. The past is a memory, the future is a guess. The only place where you can act, think, or feel is right here, right now. And the beauty of Stoicism is that it teaches you exactly this, to live in harmony with the present moment. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, confine yourself to the present. So, how do you do that? Start with mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully aware of the moment, not in the future, not in the past, but right now. It's about engaging your senses, noticing the small details, and being present in your thoughts and feelings without judgment. When you practice mindfulness, you stop the cycle of overthinking. You stop the worry. You stop the what-ifs that play in your mind and keep you from experiencing life as it is. Let's dive into this. Imagine you're sitting in a room and your mind starts to wander. Maybe you start worrying about something that might happen next week or replaying something that went wrong yesterday. This is where mindfulness comes in. Instead of letting your mind spin out of control, gently bring your focus back to the present. Notice the sensations around you, the feel of your feet on the ground, the sound of your breath, the light coming through the window. Bring yourself fully into the now, without judging your thoughts, just observing them as they come and go. The more you practice mindfulness, the more you'll notice how often your mind is off in the future or the past. But instead of judging yourself for it, recognize that this is part of being human. The key is to practice bringing your awareness back to the present moment. As Epictetus wisely said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. When you bring your focus to the present, you have the power to choose how you react, calmly, deliberately, and with purpose. Here, where you can take action right away, try the 5 senses exercise. It's simple, and it's a powerful way to snap yourself back into the present. Stop what you're doing for a moment and take note of the following. What are 5 things you can see? Maybe it's the pattern on the carpet, the light on the walls, or the way the air looks as it moves. What are 4 things you can feel? The texture of your clothes, the warmth of your skin, the surface you're sitting on. What are 3 things you can hear? The hum of the air conditioning, distant voices, or the sound of your breath. What are 2 things you can smell? Maybe the air itself, or the scent of coffee or food nearby. What is 1 thing you can taste? A sip of water, the aftertaste of something you ate earlier. This simple exercise brings your awareness back to the now. It helps you break free from the worries pulling you away from the present. Every time you catch yourself worrying or getting lost in your thoughts, do the 5 senses exercise and recenter yourself. In just a few minutes, you'll start feeling more grounded, more peaceful, and, importantly, less anxious. Another powerful Stoic lesson is learning to accept the present as it is. Worry often comes from resistance to what's happening around you. You don't like the situation, so you try to push against it, worry about it, or wish it were different. But here's the truth. What you resist persists. When you accept what is, when you let go of the need to control everything, you make room for peace. It's a mindset shift. Instead of being upset about the moment, you start embracing it. And remember, this is a practice. It takes time. Every time you bring yourself back to the present, you're strengthening your ability to focus, reduce your worries, and become more peaceful. This isn't about being perfect, it's about progress. So be patient with yourself. To wrap up, the more you practice mindfulness and bring your attention to the present moment, the more you'll notice a shift in how you experience life. Worries will still come. Yes, that's part of life. But with practice, you'll have the tools to let them go, choose your response, and reclaim your peace. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca wisely said, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. So, the more you live in the present, the less you'll suffer from worries about the past or future. Take action today. Start small. Keep coming back to the now. And soon, you'll begin to notice how much calmer and more in control you feel. Number 3, embrace the concept of amor fati, love of fate. Let's talk about one of the most powerful concepts in Stoicism that can completely change how you look at your worries, amor fati, which simply put means love of fate. Now, I know this might sound a bit strange at first. How can you love everything that happens in your life? Isn't that asking a little too much? Not at all. In fact, embracing amor fati could be exactly what you need to free yourself from the cycle of anxiety and stress. Here, what it really means. Amor fati is the practice of accepting everything that happens, good, bad, or indifferent, with open arms as something that is meant to be. Instead of resisting or complaining about life's ups and downs, you choose to embrace them. You choose to believe that whatever happens is an essential part of your story, your growth, and your journey. But how does this tie into worrying? Worry often comes from a deep sense of resistance. You worry about what might happen, about things you can't control, or about outcomes you don't want to face. You're not just worrying about the present or the future, you're also resisting it. You wish things were different, that they went your way. But here's the thing. Resistance only fuels worry. The more you fight against the reality of a situation, the more it drags you down. Here, where amor fati changes everything. When you embrace everything that comes your way, every challenge, every setback, every disappointment, you stop fighting reality. You stop giving unnecessary energy to worrying about things you can't change. You accept the present moment as it is. You understand that every twist, turn, and obstacle is not something to fear, but something to be grateful for because it's shaping you, teaching you, and molding you into who you're meant to become. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, said it best. What happens is neither good nor bad. It is our judgment that makes it so. In other words, the events of your life aren't inherently problematic. It's your reaction to them that determines how they affect you. When you stop resisting what happens and instead embrace it, you free yourself from the prison of worry. But let's make this practical for you. How do you actually practice amor fati in your daily life? Here's the first step. Start by shifting your perspective. The next time something doesn't go as planned, instead of thinking, "This shouldn't be happening," ask yourself, "What can I learn from this? How can this make me stronger, wiser, or better?" When you reframe challenges as opportunities for growth, you stop fearing them. You start to see them as stepping stones toward your future. Now, this doesn't mean you have to love everything that happens, especially when things get tough. The Stoic philosopher Nietzsche, who popularized amor fati, said, "My formula for greatness in a human being is amor fati. That one wants nothing to be different, not forward, not backward, not in all eternity. It's about loving the whole package, every joy, every struggle, every loss, and every gain. The key is to accept it all and move forward without judgment or regret." Action step. Try this out. Next time something unexpected happens, instead of reacting with frustration or anxiety, try saying to yourself, "I love my fate. This is part of my journey, and I trust that I am exactly where I need to be." This simple phrase can shift your mindset from resistance to acceptance and help you let go of that anxious grip you might have on life's outcomes. Another powerful exercise is to journal your thoughts at the end of each day. Reflect on the events of the day, especially the moments that caused you worry or stress. Then, write down how those events might have helped you grow, what lessons you might have learned, or how they could lead you toward something better. This will help you reframe your experiences and start to see them as necessary parts of your story. By embracing amor fati, you'll notice something incredible. You'll begin to worry less about the future because you'll trust that whatever happens, you'll be able to handle it. You'll stop resisting the flow of life and instead flow with it, adapting and growing as you go. When you love your fate, worry loses its grip on you. You start seeing everything as a gift, even the difficult parts, and that's when true peace sets in. So take action. Let go of resistance. Stop fearing the unknown. Embrace your fate. Love every part of your journey, the twists, the turns, and all the unexpected detours along the way. The more you practice amor fati, the more you'll realize that life is not something to control or fear. It's something to embrace. And when you do, worry will no longer have the power to hold you back. Number 4, focus on rational thinking and avoiding negative emotions. One of the most effective ways to stop worrying and regain control over your mind is to focus on rational thinking. The Stoics were masters of logic, and they understood something incredibly important. Your thoughts shape your emotions, and your emotions shape your actions. If you let negative emotions run unchecked, they'll take over, turning your life into a whirlwind of worry, stress, and frustration. But here's the good news. You can control your thoughts. You can choose how you react. The Stoics taught us that it's not the external events that upset us, but how we interpret those events. It's your thinking that triggers your emotions, not the situations themselves. As Epictetus famously said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. So, if you want to stop worrying, you have to take a step back and look at your thinking. You need to get clear on what's real, what's rational, and what's just a story your mind is making up. Let's be honest. Worry often starts with irrational thinking. You catastrophize, imagining the worst-case scenario, spiraling into fear, stress, or anxiety. You predict things will go wrong and focus on potential problems that might never even happen. Sound familiar, but the truth is, these are just mental habits, and just like any habit, they can be broken. The first step is to slow down and take a breath. When you start feeling anxious or overwhelmed, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, what's the evidence here? Am I assuming the worst, or is there actually something real to worry about? Often, when you break down your worries, you'll see that they're not based on facts. They're based on fears and assumptions. Rational thinking involves looking at the situation clearly, without distortion or exaggeration. A simple but powerful exercise is to challenge your thoughts. The next time you catch yourself worrying about something, write down the thought and ask yourself these questions. What's the worst that could happen? Get specific about the worst-case scenario. What's the likelihood of that actually happening? Realistically, how probable is it? Even if the worst happens, what can I control? Can you take action to fix or improve it? How can I reframe this? What's a more rational, balanced perspective on the situation? This exercise forces you to confront your irrational thoughts and replace them with something more realistic. It shifts your mindset from fear-driven thinking to clear, rational thinking. It gives you the mental clarity you need to respond effectively rather than just reacting emotionally. Let's take it a step further. When the Stoics talked about rational thinking, they didn't just mean using logic to avoid worry. They also meant aligning your thoughts with virtue and wisdom. In other words, think about what is truly important in life, your values, your principles, and your goals, and make sure your thoughts are in line with those things. When your thinking is grounded in your deeper values, it's easier to let go of superficial worries. For example, if you value inner peace, your rational mind will remind you that worrying is a disturbance to your peace, and it's not worth your energy. If you value growth and learning, you'll see challenges as opportunities to learn, rather than things to fear. When your thoughts align with your values, you naturally shift away from worry and toward calm, focused action. Here's an exercise to help you do just that: daily reflection. Take a few minutes at the end of each day to reflect on your thoughts and emotions. Write down the things you worried about and ask yourself, was my thinking rational? Did I let negative emotions control my actions? How could I have approached this with a clearer, calmer mindset? This simple habit helps you stay accountable to your thoughts and ensures you're actively practicing rational thinking every day. It'll help you see patterns in your thinking, and you'll begin to notice when your worries are rooted in irrational thoughts, not reality. Remember, negative emotions don't control you unless you let them. You can decide, right now, to take control of your thoughts. By focusing on rational thinking, you start to break the cycle of worry. You begin to detach from the emotional chaos and see things for what they truly are. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca wisely said, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. When you focus on rational thinking, you'll stop letting your imagination run wild, and you'll stop worrying about things that haven't even happened. You'll stop letting negative emotions dictate your actions, and you'll find peace in the present moment. So what's the next step for you? Start challenging your worries today. Look at your thoughts through a rational lens. Ask yourself the right questions. Practice daily reflection. And most importantly, remember that you have the power to choose your response. You always have. Rational thinking is your tool, your shield, and your path to a life free from unnecessary worry. Number 5, build resilience through self-discipline and self-reflection. To stop worrying and create lasting peace in your life, one of the most important tools you can develop is resilience. Resilience isn't just about bouncing back from hard times. It's about building an unshakable mental foundation that helps you handle whatever life throws your way. And the key to developing this resilience: self-discipline and self-reflection. Let's break this down. The Stoics were big on these two concepts. Self-discipline is the ability to control your impulses, your emotions, and your reactions. Self-reflection, on the other hand, is the process of looking inward to understand your thoughts, actions, and feelings. When you combine these two, you create a powerful mental strength that helps you stay calm, focused, and in control, even when things feel uncertain or stressful. Here's the deal: worrying often comes from a sense of helplessness. You feel like you have no control over what's going to happen, and your mind starts spiraling into what-ifs. But with self-discipline, you remind yourself that you can control your actions and your reactions, even if you can't control everything else. You don't need to know exactly what's going to happen in the future. You just need to be able to respond effectively, whatever it may bring. Epictetus, one of the greatest Stoics, put it perfectly when he said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." What does that mean for you? It means that the more disciplined you are, the more freedom you have. Freedom to think clearly, act decisively, and handle life's challenges without giving in to worry or fear. So, how do you start building this discipline and resilience in your own life? First, you have to get serious about taking control of your habits. What are you doing every day to keep your mind sharp, your body healthy, and your emotions in check? Are you letting yourself fall into negative thinking or mindlessly reacting to stress? Or are you actively choosing how to respond to the ups and downs of life? Start with small, consistent actions. Self-discipline isn't about trying to do everything perfectly. It's about building a series of good habits, day by day, step by step. Set a routine that includes practices that keep you grounded and calm. This could be something simple like taking a few minutes each morning to meditate or reflect on your goals. It could be going for a walk to clear your mind or setting aside time at the end of the day to journal and process your thoughts. Whatever it is, make sure you're building habits that empower you rather than drain you. The next part of the equation is self-reflection. This is where you really get to know yourself and how you react to the world. The Stoics believed that by reflecting on your thoughts and actions, you gain clarity and wisdom. You understand yourself better, which helps you respond to life's challenges with a calm, rational mind. Start incorporating daily reflection into your routine. Each evening, take a few minutes to sit quietly and think about your day. Ask yourself, what went well today? Where did I struggle? What did I learn from the challenges I faced? Did I let my emotions control me at any point? This practice helps you become more self-aware, and the more self-aware you are, the less likely you are to be swept away by irrational fears and worries. You'll start to realize that most of the things you worry about are just fleeting thoughts. They don't have the power to control you unless you let them. Another exercise you can try is the premeditation of evils, a Stoic practice where you mentally prepare yourself for potential challenges. Before you start your day, think about the obstacles you might face. What if things don't go as planned? What if something unexpected happens? Instead of letting those thoughts make you anxious, use them as opportunities to practice resilience. By mentally preparing for setbacks, you shift your focus from worry to acceptance. You realize that life is full of ups and downs, and that's okay. What matters is how you respond. Remember, resilience isn't about avoiding challenges. It's about how you deal with them. And the more self-disciplined you become, the more you'll realize that you have the power to handle anything that comes your way. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. So here's your action plan. Make resilience a daily habit. Work on building your self-discipline, starting with small, manageable steps. Reflect on your thoughts and reactions at the end of each day. Mentally prepare for challenges and embrace obstacles as opportunities to grow. Little by little, you'll find that you can handle stress and worry with more grace and ease. The more resilient you become, the less power worry will have over you. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by what's beyond your control, you'll feel calm, grounded, and ready to take on whatever life throws your way. The journey to stop worrying starts with you right now. Take control, build resilience, and become the calm, focused person you're meant to be. Thanks for watching. Remember, worry is a natural part of life, but it doesn't have to control you. By applying Stoic principles, you can gain a sense of peace and perspective, no matter what life throws your way. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on more life-changing content. Stay stoic, stay calm, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. He who is brave is free. Seneca. What if I told you that the words you choose, even in a casual conversation, can completely change the way someone sees you, make you unforgettable, magnetic, and quietly irresistible? You might think it's about charm, looks, or humor, but in reality, it's much simpler than that. Stoicism teaches us that true influence comes from control, clarity, and presence. And the phrase I'm about to share with you embodies all of that. It's subtle, powerful, and impossible to resist when delivered the right way. In this video, we're diving deep into the Stoic strategy behind communication that captivates women without forcing or pretending. I'll show you exactly what to say, how to say it, and why it works on a psychological level that's rooted in timeless wisdom. This isn't about gimmicks or manipulation. It's about harnessing your natural presence and speaking with quiet confidence that commands attention. Stick with me till the very end, because the full power of this approach only reveals itself when you understand the nuance, the timing, and the mindset behind it. Watch closely, absorb every detail, and by the time we're done, you'll know exactly how to say the words that no woman can resist. Number 1, start with calm confidence, not desperation. First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. That's Epictetus speaking, and it cuts straight to the heart of what it means to start with calm confidence. You see, too often people approach interaction, especially with women, through the lens of desperation. They're trying too hard, overcompensating with words, gestures that scream, "Notice me, validate me." But desperation is like a weak signal. It's noisy, unsteady, and immediately sensed. Calm confidence, on the other hand, is magnetic because it doesn't demand attention. It radiates assurance. It doesn't need permission. It doesn't grovel. When you embody calm confidence, you operate from a place of inner stability. You're grounded, you're unshakable, and the subtlety of that energy, it draws attention naturally. People feel it before they consciously notice it. So how do you cultivate this in your daily life? Start by recognizing your inner state before engaging with anyone. Ask yourself, am I coming from need or choice, from scarcity or abundance? The moment you detect even a flicker of neediness, pause, take a deep breath, reset. Stoics teach us that our reactions are within our control. Wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." The same principle applies here. You cannot control how someone responds, but you can control the energy you carry. And that energy, calm and composed, communicates far more than words ever could. Practice this consciously in small ways. Walk into a room without announcing your presence. Speak without rushing to fill silence. Meet eyes with steady attention without demanding reciprocation. Each small act is training your mind and body to operate from quiet assurance. Another exercise is to embrace stillness before engagement. Stand in front of a mirror. Notice your posture. Relax your shoulders. Let your breathing lengthen. Feel your heartbeat, not to chase it down, but to recognize it. Affirm silently, "I am enough. I choose to act, not react." This isn't a trick or a performance. It's an alignment of your inner state with your outward demeanor. Calm confidence isn't faked. It's cultivated. And the more you practice, the more it becomes your default mode. Soon, desperation won't creep in, even in high-stakes moments, because you'll have trained yourself to return automatically to groundedness. Here's the subtle beauty of calm confidence. It doesn't need words to work. You can say very little, but the energy you project makes an impression. You'll notice that when you operate from neediness, you're exhausting yourself and diluting your presence. But when you operate from steady composure, you become the observer, the anchor. You're acting deliberately, not reacting compulsively. You carry yourself like a force that exists whether or not anyone acknowledges it. It's invisible but undeniable. To make this a habit, set a daily checkpoint. Identify one interaction where you usually feel the urge to overcompensate or seek approval. In that moment, deliberately slow down. Focus on your breath. Ground yourself. Enter with calmness. Notice the effect not just on others but on yourself. You'll find that the need to control outcomes fades. You'll speak less, observe more, and your presence will naturally command respect and attention. Over time, this becomes second nature. You're no longer performing for anyone. You're embodying a state that simply attracts because it is authentic. Remember, calm confidence is a quiet declaration of self-respect. It signals that you value yourself and your time. Desperation, conversely, broadcasts the opposite. Choose the energy you carry. Train your mind to settle before action. Let your posture, your voice, your gaze, and your breathing align. Start each encounter from a place of composure, and you will find that people respond not to your words but to your essence. You don't need to prove anything. You only need to be. And when you are, that is irresistible. Number 2, give genuine, situation-specific compliments. Here's the reality you need to grasp. A compliment isn't a tool to impress or manipulate. It's a bridge, a way to acknowledge what's already there and show that you're present, fully attentive. Seneca once said, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you." Notice the subtlety. He's not talking about flattering to gain advantage, but about recognizing value where it exists. When you give a compliment, it has to be genuine. That means you're not scattering words like confetti, hoping one will stick. You're observing, noticing, and pointing out something real, something specific to the moment. The difference between a generic "you look nice" and a situation-specific, heartfelt compliment is seismic. The first is noise. The second is magnetic. When you start focusing on giving compliments that are precise, thoughtful, and rooted in reality, people notice. They sense authenticity immediately because nothing artificial can ever pass this kind of test. Now the challenge is attention. You have to train yourself to see what others overlook. Look beyond the surface. Notice the small details, the way someone's energy fills a room, the subtle creativity in how they've handled a situation, the courage in their choices, the clarity in their thinking. Don't just skim the exterior, dive into the layers. This requires slowing down, listening harder, observing more intently. It's an exercise in awareness. Here's a practice. Throughout your day, pick one person and commit to noticing one thing about them that's impressive, meaningful, or admirable. Then, when the moment presents itself naturally, offer that observation as a compliment. Make it concise. Make it relevant. Make it unmistakably sincere. Over time, this becomes a habit. Your attention sharpens. Your presence becomes felt. The beauty of situation-specific compliments is that they carry weight without expectation. You're not trying to elicit a reaction. You're simply acknowledging excellence where it exists. That's where Stoicism meets social mastery. Reminds us, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Apply this. Be someone who notices, who respects, who elevates. When your compliment arises naturally, it isn't forced. It flows from a place of observation and truth. And that truth resonates. People feel it. It's a subtle magnetism, quiet yet compelling. A practical exercise to internalize this. Every evening, reflect on 3 moments during the day where you could have offered a compliment but didn't. Ask yourself, why did you hold back? Were you distracted? Did ego interfere? Did you default to generic phrases? Make mental notes and tomorrow act differently. Catch yourself in the moment and give a compliment that's pointed, meaningful, and situational. Keep refining your skill, because the ability to recognize value in others without seeking anything in return is a form of silent power. And remember, the key is consistency without obsession. Don't give compliments like a machine ticking off points. Let them flow from genuine observation. Let your presence, attentiveness, and calm confidence support the words. When you do this repeatedly, people notice, not just because of what you say, but because of the energy you project. That energy says, I see you. I respect what you bring. And when you align your actions with your words in this way, it becomes irresistible, not through flashy lines, but through authenticity, through precision, through the quiet force of awareness. So start now. Slow down. Observe closely. Offer compliments that matter, that are rooted in reality, and that acknowledge the unique qualities of the moment. Stop scattering empty praise. Instead, focus on depth, precision, and truth. Do this consistently, and you'll find that your words carry weight, your presence commands respect, and your genuine attention becomes a force no one can ignore. You don't need to charm through pretense. You just need to notice and speak the truth of what you see. Number 3, listen actively and respond thoughtfully. Here's the truth you need to grasp right now. No one responds to shallow words, rehearsed lines, or hollow flattery. The moment you stop speaking from a place of genuine curiosity and start parroting what you think people want to hear, you disconnect from real connection. Epictetus reminds us, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. This isn't just a clever saying. It's a blueprint for influence, for meaningful interaction, for presence that draws people in naturally. If you want someone to truly feel your attention, to feel the weight of your presence, you must first give of yourself without agenda. You must listen, not just wait for your turn to speak, not just nod along absent-mindedly, but listen actively. Tune in to the rhythm of their words, the subtle inflections, the pauses that speak louder than sentences. When you do this, when you genuinely absorb what they are saying, you build a bridge of trust that no charm or gimmick can replicate. Start practicing this today. When someone speaks to you, quiet the urge to plan your response in advance. Let your mind focus entirely on their words. Notice how their tone shifts, how their eyes move, how their pauses emphasize meaning. Then respond thoughtfully. Don't rush to fix, advise, or impress. Simply respond in a way that acknowledges their experience, that reflects understanding, that shows you've truly heard them. This is where genuine engagement lies, in the small acts of mindful reflection before you speak. You can even practice this in simple ways, in meetings, in conversations with friends, in casual interactions. Notice the difference in energy when your attention is fully present, when your response is crafted from awareness rather than impulse. Here's the key. Giving genuine attention and responding thoughtfully isn't about performing kindness. It's about cultivating a presence that others sense instinctively. Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Don't waste your energy on empty chatter. Invest it in listening with intention. Speak only when your words add value, when they reflect your understanding, when they are aligned with your awareness of the moment. This practice doesn't just make you more magnetic. It strengthens your self-discipline, your emotional intelligence, your capacity to remain grounded in any interaction. You are training yourself to be intentional with your presence, to carry a quiet authority, to project a confidence that doesn't need to shout to be noticed. One practical exercise. During your next conversation, challenge yourself to respond to every statement with reflection rather than reaction. Paraphrase their point, ask a clarifying question, or offer a considered thought that deepens the dialogue. Feel the subtle power in this. Observe how people lean in, how they sense the weight of someone who truly listens. This is magnetic. This is irresistible. This is the Stoic approach to connection, calm, deliberate, and rooted in authenticity. Another layer to this practice is consistency. Don't reserve your attentive listening for moments of personal gain. Make it your default mode. Approach every interaction with curiosity, with the intent to understand rather than to impress. Over time, this shapes your presence into something rare, something palpable. People don't just hear you, they feel you. They sense the intentionality behind your words, the thoughtfulness in your responses, the authenticity that can't be faked. You have the tools, you have the choice. Stop speaking to be heard, start listening to understand. Respond not out of habit but with awareness. Let your attention be genuine. Let your responses carry the weight of thought and presence. Do this and you will notice a shift. People will gravitate toward you. They will respect the depth of your engagement. They will feel the authenticity that can't be replicated. And in that, you will find influence, attraction, and connection that are unshakable. You don't need tricks. You don't need rehearsed lines. You just need to give genuinely, listen actively, and respond thoughtfully, and everything else follows. Number 4, maintain subtle detachment. Let her pursue your energy. Don't hanker after what is not yours and do not give what is not asked, reminds you. That's the essence of energy, presence, and subtle power. When it comes to connection, attraction, and influence, the principle is the same. Give genuinely but remain detached. This doesn't mean being cold or indifferent. It means aligning your actions with authenticity, not expectation. When you operate from a place of desire for approval or validation, you dilute your energy. You scatter it across outcomes you can't control, and suddenly your presence loses its magnetism. But when you give sincerely, without strings, without hidden motives, something shifts. Your energy becomes irresistible. You are no longer chasing, you are radiating. You are no longer reacting, you are steady. You allow the other person to engage freely, to pursue your energy naturally. That is the quiet power of detachment. Start by examining your intentions. Each time you reach out, speak, or act, ask yourself, am I doing this to get something, or am I doing this because it feels right? That pause, that internal check, changes everything. When you give genuinely, you are present. You are attentive. Your words carry weight because they are rooted in truth, not desire. There's a subtlety here that people often miss. Detachment doesn't mean you withdraw your warmth. It means you resist the urge to grab, to overextend, to bend your energy toward approval. Instead, you offer your full presence, your sincere attention, and then step back. You maintain your boundaries, your inner calm, your equilibrium. And in that space, attraction thrives. Here's a practical exercise to embody this principle. In your next interaction, consciously give something of value, time, insight, encouragement, but do it quietly without expectation. Afterward, step back. Resist checking for reactions. Notice the discomfort in not receiving immediate acknowledgement. That discomfort is your training ground. It teaches you to anchor your energy internally, to cultivate self-sufficiency, to let your presence speak louder than any attempt to impress. Over time, this will become natural. You will no longer need to chase attention because your energy will draw people in effortlessly. Another layer of this practice is verbal subtlety. When you speak, choose words that reflect your integrity, your confidence, your calm. Avoid over-explaining, over-promising, or trying to fill silence. There's a Stoic principle here. First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do, Epictetus advises. Apply it to conversation. Be measured, concise, meaningful. Your words are no longer tools of manipulation. They are expressions of your grounded self. This communicates value without claiming it. It creates a dynamic where the other person senses your worth and is naturally drawn to engage. Finally, remember the rhythm of energy is reciprocal. When you maintain subtle detachment, you allow space for her to engage on her own terms. You are not denying connection. You are creating it in its most authentic form. You are inviting her to pursue the energy you radiate, rather than forcing it. This is where true magnetism lives, between presence and restraint, between giving and stepping back, between action and stillness. The moment you master this balance, you operate from a place of power that cannot be undermined. You give genuinely, you hold your ground, and you watch as your presence, calm yet charged, becomes something impossible to resist. Your task starts now. Practice giving without grasping, speak without overselling, act without expectation, cultivate quiet confidence, maintain subtle detachment, let her pursue your energy. And as you do this, remember, the strongest influence comes not from what you say, but from the calm, steady force of who you are. Number 5, speak with purpose. Avoid filler or. First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. That's Epictetus speaking, and it hits right at the heart of how you communicate. Words are not just sounds. They are instruments of influence, tools of connection, and mirrors of your character. When you speak with purpose, every sentence you choose carries weight. Every pause, every carefully measured word signals to the world that you value yourself and the person you are addressing. Here, the thing, nobody is drawn to noise, to filler, to endless explanations that dilute meaning. You might feel tempted to justify yourself or to fill the silence with chatter. Stop. That impulse is your ego trying to control perception. Instead, give genuine, be deliberate, be intentional. Speak only what you truly mean and let that honesty create an invisible pull that's irresistible. Start by examining your speech today. Notice how often you over-explain, qualify, or add unnecessary detail. Each time you catch yourself, pause, ask, is this necessary? Does this contribute meaningfully? Then strip it back. Say what matters, say it clearly. You'll discover that the weight of authenticity carries more power than pages of justification. Reminds us, if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Imagine adopting that rule in every conversation. It transforms you from a person who simply talks into someone whose words carry the quiet authority of integrity. You become memorable not for what you say, but for the precision and honesty with which you say it. A practical exercise is to practice brevity without losing impact. Take a thought, an opinion, a compliment, or an observation and express it in one sentence. Resist the urge to expand unless clarity demands it. Notice how people lean in, pay attention, and respond differently when your words aren't clouded by fluff. It forces you to crystallize your intent and strengthens your ability to communicate meaningfully under any circumstance. You are training yourself to speak not to fill silence but to command it. Every pause becomes a tool. Every carefully chosen word becomes an instrument. You are no longer a participant in mindless chatter. You are a conductor of presence. Another exercise is reflection. At the end of the day, consider your interactions. Did you speak with intention? Did you give genuine without padding your words? Write down moments where you and then rewrite them in their form. Feel the difference in energy, in clarity, in authority. The act of refinement trains your mind to cut through noise, to honor your own voice, and to respect the intelligence of those listening. Over time, this builds a presence that is magnetic. When you speak with purpose, your words convey confidence without arrogance. Your authenticity resonates. People feel it. They can sense when you are grounded in truth rather than swayed by the need to impress. Speaking with purpose isn't just about being concise, it's about embodying presence. Every interaction is an opportunity to project calm authority. By avoiding filler you create space for the other person to engage, to respond, to feel seen. And in that space, genuine connection grows. You are no longer chasing attention, you are commanding it quietly. You don't have to force admiration. It arrives naturally, drawn to the clarity and integrity of your speech. So start now. Speak less, speak true, and speak with weight. Give genuine. Let every word you release be deliberate. Let every pause be intentional. Watch how your presence shifts. Watch how your voice becomes magnetic. When you master this, you don't just talk, you influence. You don't just communicate, you captivate. Be deliberate, be authentic, speak with purpose. Remember what Epictetus said. We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. What you just learned isn't about manipulation. It's about mastery over your words, your presence, and the energy you bring into every interaction. If you take this to heart and practice it consistently, you'll notice a shift, not just in how women respond to you, but in how people respond to your confidence and calm authority. This is your path to silent power. So don't just watch, apply. Start with one phrase, one moment of genuine presence, and see the difference it makes. And if you want more strategies to elevate your interactions, guard your energy, and wield silent influence like a Stoic, make sure to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for the next video. Your transformation begins with choice, and the first choice is yours.